On August 15, 1947, we attained independence. Alongside, the great ancient land of Bharat was partitioned on communal lines. On the one hand, when the Congress leadership and the Muslim leadership were preparing themselves for independence and taking over the rulership, British colonialists led by Lord Mountbatten were trying to execute the India's Independence Act hurriedly. Many parts of Akhand Bharat were witnessing riots, mayhems, murders and inhuman crimes against women. Gandhiji was taking tours in eastern parts of Bharat. The second Sarsang Chalak of Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, Shri Golwalkar Gurji, was travelling in the western part, which constitute Pakistan now. RSS was running many refugee camps. Muslim League leaders were busy not just preparing for Pakistan, but also instigating communal frenzy mobs on the ground. A book by researcher and author Shri Prashant Pol tried to put together developments of this fortnight of August 1947 in his book, which is one of the best sellers, called Wo 15 Din, which is translated as Those 15 Days. This year, Organiser is taking you through the developments of those 15 days, going through the most happening 15 days towards Bharat's independence alongside the communal partition will provide new insights to the viewers and inspire them to take up research on various aspects of conversations, communications and negotiations, as well as the kind of communal frenzy things happening on the ground about India's independence and the great partition of this land. Thursday, August 7th, 1947. Many newspapers in the country carried Gandhiji's statement made a day earlier. The Times in Mumbai highlighted this news, while the Hindustan from Delhi published it on its first page. This news was also carried by the Statesman in Calcutta and the Hindu in Madras. However, there were others which did not publish Gandhiji's statement, which said, "I don't bow to the national flag of India if it doesn't carry the charkha in it," as they found it provocative and out of sync with Gandhiji's personality. Punjabi, Hindi and Urdu newspapers in Punjab, however, gave prominence to the story. People all over the country began to discuss the issue the first thing in the morning. People carried the Daily Milap published from Lahore in their hands that morning. This was the main newspaper of local Hindus. Of course, Bharat Mata, the mouthpiece of the Hindu Mahasabha, was popular in the homes of most of the Hindus earlier. However, their calligraphists had published something erroneous against Gandhiji, and the public outcry made the newspaper shut its shop. However, Hindi dailies like Milap, Pratap, Vande Mataram and Paras, being published in Hyderabad of Sindh province, gave a good coverage on the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh's meeting held there. An abstract of the speech made by Sarsang Chalak Shri Guruji was also published by them. Even the English daily Dawn published Shri Guruji's speech. A small meeting of Pakistan Hindu Mahasabha leaders was being held at a house in Rawalpindi on a Thursday. The partition was certainly now, and it had become obvious that most of the Punjab and the whole of Sindh province would go to Pakistan. Attacks by the Pakistan National Guard on Hindus were increasing day by day. In such a situation, something had to be done to protect the Hindus living in the soon-to-be carved Pakistan. Hence, the leaders of Pakistan Hindu Mahasabha sent out a statement for publication. In the statement, they appealed to the Hindus in Pakistan to respect and honor the flag of the Muslim League. At the same time, the Pakistan Hindu Mahasabha congratulated Iftikhar Hussain Khan Mamdod from West Punjab for being elected as the leader of the Muslim League in the assembly, and also Khwaja Nizamuddin of East Bengal for becoming the leader of the Muslim League. It seemed that the local Hindus had fully realized that Pakistan would be formed or was about to be formed. In Hyderabad of Sindh province, it rained a bit at night. As a result, the temperature in the surroundings was rather subdued. Shri Guruji woke up in the wee hours of the morning. The Prabhat Shakha to which Shri Guruji was taken witnessed a good attendance. The ground was large and the faces of the Swayamsevaks glowed with the presence of Shri Guruji at their Shakha. At the same time, the gravity of the situation could not be hidden because they had to leave everything behind in the next few days. The holy land of their ancestors would soon become foreign and they would have to resettle in an unknown region of India. A small informal meeting after the Shakha was held. Snacks were served to everyone. Shri Guruji tried to playfully to impart cheer in that stressful atmosphere. The plan to relocate Hindus of Hyderabad and neighboring areas of Sindh provinces in India was being prepared. Unfortunately, there was no help from the government of India during this exercise. There was no directive either from the government regarding in which part of India these Hindus would be provided shelter or where their rehabilitation should be. The Congress was basically opposed to the principle of exchange of population. Rather, Gandhiji was advising the Hindus to stay behind in East Punjab and Sindh province and fearlessly embrace martyrdom if attacked by the Muslim goons. In such a situation, protecting the Hindus and taking them safely to India was a very brave, courageous and dangerous act. But the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh accepted the challenge. As soon as the snacks got over, Shri Guruji left for Karachi at about 9 am. The Swayamsevaks from Hyderabad and surrounding villages stood with moist eyes as they sent him off. Their hearts were heavy because none knew where and when they would ever meet him again. Shri Guruji also knew that this was his last visit to Sindh province. Time stood still. The atmosphere seemed heavy, but he had to leave. So many tasks lay ahead for him to attend. Thus, Shri Guruji's convoy left for Karachi with Abaji Thatte, Rajpalji and others accompanying him. At about the same time, at 6 o'clock in the morning, in Moscow to be precise, the plane carrying Mrs. Vijayalakshmi Pandit, the first ambassador to Russia of independent India, landed at the Moscow International Airport. Even though August is summer time for Moscowites, Vijayalakshmi Pandit felt a bit of a chill in the atmosphere. The national flag of soon-to-be independent India, the tricolor with the Ashok Chakra, was unfurled at the airport to welcome her. This may perhaps be the first time to officially unfurl the national flag of independent India outside the country. She smiled wearily at the thought. That the 47-year-old Vijayalakshmi Pandit was Jawaharlal Nehru's sister was not her only credential. She herself had participated in the freedom struggle and been sent to jail. She was a very intelligent woman and 11 years younger to Jawaharlal. She did not get to spend much time in his company, as at about 21 years of age, she married Ranjit Pandit, a famous lawyer from Kathiawad princely state, of her own free will. So when she was appointed as independent India's ambassador to Russia, her qualification was not only as being known as Jawaharlal Nehru's sister, she had her own achievements to boast of. The Russians welcomed Jawaharlal's sister, who had come as the Indian ambassador, with utmost respect. Her stay in Russia was marked with a very nice beginning. The special Dakota aircraft carrying Quaid-e-Azam Jinnah from Delhi landed at the Karachi airport at about 1 p.m. Jinnah, his sister Fatima, and 3 colleagues disembarked from the plane. No special enthusiasm was visible among the Muslim League workers at this visit of Pakistan's creator, because very few workers had come to receive Jinnah. A slogan or two were chanted for Pakistan and Jinnah, but they were very laggard. Quaid-e-Azam Jinnah's arrival in Pakistan for good received a tepid response. In Mumbai, the sky was cloudy. The atmosphere was rainy but delightful. A small ceremony was being held in front of the Bombay Municipal Corporation's building at Boribandar. 2 best buses were parked in front and small tent had been erected. The ceremony was being held with the country's independence just a week away. The occasion was marked by handing over of the Bombay Electricity Supply and Transport Company, popularly known as the BEST, that had been serving citizens of Mumbai since 1874. At that moment, BEST held a total of 275 buses, and now the ownership of all these buses was being transferred to the Bombay Municipal Corporation. A new chapter was about to begin in Mumbai. At Warangal, the capital city of Kakatiya dynasty, the place famous for the 1,000-pillar temple, a big city of the Nizam Shahi kingdom, it was about 11 a.m. The sun was spewing fire even in the month of August. There was no trace of clouds even at far away distance. There was no wind. The leaves of the trees were still, while some had fallen lifelessly. The main square of Warangal was almost empty. There was no traffic, and all of a sudden, about 100 to 125 Congress workers reached the square from across all the roads, chanting slogans and holding Congress flags in their hands. Slogans like "Merge the Nizam Shahi in the Indian Union" were being shouted in high-pitched voices. The one leading the procession was Kolipaka Kishan Rao Garu, the president of the Warangal District Congress Committee. These workers had launched a satyagraha to voice their demand for merger of Nizam Shahi Hyderabad with the Union of India on the directive of the Hyderabad State Congress Committee. The president of the Hyderabad State Congress Committee, Swami Ramatirth, had appealed to the people to participate in the satyagraha. He himself had joined in the protest and was chanting slogans in the Kachiguda area of Hyderabad along with hundreds of Congress workers. Even though the voice of India had begun to enjoy a whiff of independence, this large part of Nizam Shahi was still languishing in the darkness of subjugation, enduring rampant inhuman torture by the Razakars. All major newspapers in Calcutta, such as the Amrit Bazar Patrika, the Daily Basumati, Statesman, carried a prominent news story on their first page, and it was about the appointment of Chakravarti Rajagopalachari, popularly known as Rajaji, as the governor of Bengal. This meant that Rajaji was to become the first governor of West Bengal, or the Partitioned Bengal. Rajaji was a towering personality in the Congress party. He ran the Madras province single-handedly. However, he had to face a defeat in the recently held provincial elections. Moreover, Rajaji was known as a champion of partition. Sharat Chandra Bose, however, was getting agitated on reading this news while sitting in his study. He immediately prepared a statement for publishing in all the Delhi newspapers. Sharat Babu wrote, and I quote, "The appointment of Rajagopalachari is an insult to Bengal. What is the wisdom in imposing on us a man whom Madras has rejected and defeated in the elections?" Unquote. At Delhi, headquarters of the Indian Army, extremely strict atmosphere, totally disciplined. The soldiers in starched and shining uniforms could be seen moving here and there. However, the change in atmosphere was perceptible on going a little further. It was more serious, more disciplined, and more courteous. Here lay the grand office of the Commander-in-Chief of India. The brass nameplate on the door gracefully bore the name Sir Claude John Auchinleck. Sir Auchinleck was seated in that grand hall on a nice erect chair behind a similarly grand mahogany table. The small Union Jack on the table attracted the eyes. An important letter lay in front of Sir Auchinleck. It was a note regarding the release of all Indian political prisoners on the proposed Independence Day. Auchinleck stopped at the word "all Indians." Did this mean all the soldiers who had fought in the Indian National Army of Subhash Chandra Bose? Yes, that was the connotation of the note. The ven on Sir Auchinleck's head moved. Release those colleagues of Subhash Bose? Release those Indian National Army men who challenged the British in real terms? No, never. He thought that at least until August 15, we are in power. Till then, no such thing. Then he called his steno and started dictating in slow but a firm voice. The military has no objection in releasing other political prisoners on August 15. However, we are steadfastly opposed to release of Indian National Army members who are accomplices of Subhash Chandra Bose. And it had become certain that those colleagues of Subhash Babu and those brave soldiers of INA who staked their lives to free India would not be free set on August 15. Elsewhere, the Madras government had released a statement announcing gifting of 5 acres of land free of cost to everyone in the Madras province who had participated in the Indian freedom struggle. The holidays on August 15 and 16 were also announced in the statement. It was just a matter of 1 week before the sun of independence would rise. It was 4 o'clock in the afternoon. A meeting of local cinema managers in Madras was going on. This meeting was called in connection with the imminent freedom. KCR Reddy was the senior most among them. He proposed, after the 15th of August, the British anthem will not be played in any of the theatres. Instead, a good Indian song with national thought will be played. The resolution was passed unanimously to the deafening applause. In faraway Karachi, Srimati Suchita Kruplani was holding a meeting of Sindhi women. Among 150-200 women had gathered there even in such a volatile situation. Suchita Kruplani's husband, J.B. Kruplani, was then the national president of the Congress party. There was a tremendous outcry in public at the Congress party's decision regarding the partition of the country. Therefore, both the husband and wife were trying to calm the rising tempers in their home region. All these Sindhi women conveyed Suchita Kruplani how unsafe they felt. They also narrated how Muslims were committing brutal atrocities on women. But Suchita Kruplani did not agree with all that and began to place her argument passionately. I have travelled a lot in Punjab and Noakhali, but not a single gun had dared to see me with wrong intent. Why? Because I do not put bright makeup, nor do I use lipstick. You women folk wear low neck blouses and transparent saris. This is why you attract the attention of these Muslim goons, and even if any of them attacks you, follow the ideal of your Rajput sisters, that is Johar. The terrified Sindhi women sitting in large hall of that bungalow and passing their days with bated breath were literally left speechless. What was this national president's wife saying? That we women living under the shadow of fear wear splashy makeup and low-neck blouses? And thus we were inviting the attention of Muslim goons? And if they were to try to rape us, we should commit Johar like Rajput women? They felt that the Congress leaders had started drifting from the reality. Army headquarters in Delhi. A big hall on the second floor. The small office of the Gorkha Regiment in the military headquarters. The platoon of brave soldiers famous for their valor all over the world and popularity known as the Gorkha Rifles. 4 officials of the regiment were engaged in a discussion around a spacious table over a grave issue. The Indian troops were being divided. The issue was whether the Gorkha Regiment should go to Pakistan or not. Some troops of Gorkha Regiment were handed over to Singapore, some to Brunei with the approval of the Nepal government and the Gorkha Regiment itself. It so happened that no Gorkha soldier was ready to go to Pakistan. Finally, all the 4 officials of the Gorkha Regiment prepared a note addressed to the Commander-in-Chief saying that no battalion of the Gorkha Regiment was prepared to go to Pakistan. They said, "We will remain with India." Raj Bhavan in Lucknow. It was about 12 o'clock in the afternoon. The meeting of the United Province Legislative Assembly was in progress. Pandit Govind Vallabh Pant, the chief of the legislature, was himself tabling a bill. Panditji was speaking earnestly. I quote, "During their 150-year rule, the British tried to corrupt our culture and also corrupted the names of our rivers and villages. Therefore, even as our country is becoming independent, let us revert all these corrupted forms of names to their original form. For example, Ganga from Ganges, Yamuna from Jamuna, Mathura from Mathura, etc. The government has published a list of all the names of rivers, villages and hills altered by the British. These original names will only be used in all future government business." Unquote. Members of the Legislative Assembly welcomed the resolution by thumping the benches. The legislature of United Provinces started the process of erasing the last vestiges of slavery and colonialism. 17 York Road, Jawaharlal Nehru's residence, the then main administrative center of independent India. At this point of time, at 6 p.m, Nehru was donning the role of foreign minister. Only 1 week was left for Pakistan to come into existence. It was imperative to depute an ambassador to Pakistan because too many tasks needed to be completed through reconciliation. The vexing issue of displaced Hindus and Sikhs remained to be solved. And the name coming to Nehru's mind was of Shri Prakasa. Shri Prakasa hailed from Allahabad, same as Nehru. He had participated in many freedom struggles and was in prison for 2 years during the Quit India movement. Polite and outspoken, this Cambridge-educated 57-year-old man possessed great administrative skills. Obviously enough, the order in the name of Shri Prakasa was released. He became the first High Commissioner of India to the newly created Pakistan. Jinnah was to give his first speech in Pakistan's parliament on August 11th. Shri Prakasa needed to report at Karachi before that day. Little did he know that all the difficult problems like the issues of Hindus and Sikhs displaced in large numbers from Pakistan, Pakistan's intolerance and Pakistan's ploy to swallow Kashmir were to be faced for the next 2 years. August 7, Thursday, the night was growing. Gandhiji's train journey, which started from Amritsar, was still on. Gandhiji's body was tired due to sitting at the same place. He liked walking. To make someone like him sit at one place for more than 24 hours was a punishment in itself. However, Gandhiji's reading and contemplation were both at work. The train was passing through the United Provinces. Workers and common people come to meet him at every station. Most of the people had only one question: Bapu, when will these riots cease? Their beloved Bapu was restless. What he saw and heard at the refugee camps at Wah and in Lahore was horrible. But should one leave one's land, residence and belongings for this? If so, then what he was preaching about would amount to be a lie. Gandhiji was to disembark at Patna the next morning. He looked far away from the window of the moving train crossing the darkness ahead. He was trying desperately to visualize the future of a restless India. This was August 7th, 1947.